Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Brenda Lee's podcast. So, for this episode today, I have another topic. The topic is going to be I distance myself from negativity. And we are going to get into many reasons and meanings to why I do and why it's important to and why you just have to in general is so important. And this is something we all need to know, something we all need to keep in mind, whether you take the advice or not that's being given. You will come to the understanding of why you should stay away from negativity and why it's important that you don't have yourself surrounded by negativity and individuals that spawn on negative energy. That's just not good for any of us. And I feel like anytime when you're somebody that's in the midst of being around that kind of energy and just those bad vibes, period, it just doesn't make you feel good. Like, you go through all types of things. And it's like, the more you're around negativity, it's like you start feeding into the negativity, and then it's like you start to become a negative person as well, along with everyone else, and that's not a good thing. I don't never want to see anybody be negative, but I also don't want myself to be negative either. But I know about other people because I can't control other people. I only can control like myself and my life. But I know for me, I'm not going to be no negative person. So that's just that. Before we get more into this topic, today I'm talking without the microphone. So this will be a first that I'm doing this without the microphone, but I think it'll be okay. Yes, absolutely. We can make it work. Okay. So continuing what I was saying. So a lot of the time, I always been the one to like distance myself, not just to be away from people, but because I don't like certain people's energy. I don't like being in a space with certain individuals where I feel like their energy and their vibe just don't sit right with me. I can't be around people like that because anything and everything will cause me to want to distance myself further and further away from these individuals. And then once I'm in a space where I'm not around these individuals, then I instantly feel better. That's why I spend so much time, by myself if I'm not around others, because I feel the most comfortable and the most peace and the most positivity is when I'm within a space by myself. Not saying that I don't feel that way when I'm around other people, because I do feel that way when I'm around other people, but it's only certain people that I feel like that around. I don't feel like that around every single person, obviously, because everybody's not a positive person. Let's just make that clear. Just like everybody is not a negative person. But there's not many people that I meet or really come across that are positive people. I usually mostly here and there come across or cross paths with people that are somewhat negative, or they have some kind of negative like energy attached to them, and I just can't click with that. I can't vibe with that because that's not what I feed into. That's not the kind of energy that I choose to live my life carrying along with me, because I'm not a negative person. I'm all about positivity, good energy, uplifting people, encouraging people. That's one of the reasons why I do what I do, is to help others out, to help other people to feel inspired, to want to help other people to hopefully be more openly about certain things, especially for the ones that remain quiet a lot or that go through a lot of things in silence. They don't really get to be heard. They don't really get to be understood. I really want to help individuals like that to really branch out and to be able to break out their shell a bit, to get to a point where they feel as though they can be heard the way they want to be. They can express themselves and they can say how they feel in a space where they don't have to be judged or criticized. Obviously, we live in a world where you're going to get criticized and judged a lot, and you can't really do much about that because that's just the world we live in. But I would want for them to be able to feel like they can be open and be comfortable with doing so without feeling the need to feel like they have to hold back or hold in how they feel because they're too scared or too afraid that they're going to get judged. Somebody's going to try to shame them or make them feel ashamed. There's nothing to feel ashamed about when it's involving your feelings. Your feelings are your feelings. You're allowed to feel the way you want to feel. And that's nothing to feel ashamed about. I feel like instead of people, being so negative when it comes to people trying to be open and expressing their feelings and saying what's on their mind, people need to be more supportive and be more understanding and respectful and mindful of other people's feelings when other people are trying to be understood and when other people are trying to be heard. The same way you would want somebody to listen to how you feel and listen to what you have to say, you have to have the same respect for somebody else. You have to give the same amount of respect for someone else. Because otherwise, if you don't, I just don't feel as though that's fair. That's the least you can do for someone if they do the same for you. Now, if they don't do the same for you, give people the same amount of respect that they give to you. And you give that back in return. And that's how that goes. But negative people, they just annoy me. And if somebody do usually say something like negative to me or say something to me that's like rude or something that's just like really random, I usually ignore it. That's how I react to it most of the time. I ignore it. They be looking for me to respond back or to give some kind of reaction or to say something back to them, but I don't say anything at all. I most kindly ignore them like they're not there, and I go on about my business because you're not about to waste my time trying to get a reaction out of me just because you're so desperate for attention for whatever reason. You want me to give my attention to you from your negative behaviors, your negative ways. Like, no, I'm not about to give any attention or I'm just not doing it. Absolutely not. I don't give attention to that kind of stuff. I don't even react to it. I ignore it as much as possible, and I feel like that's the best thing to do. The best reaction is always no reaction. Hands down, I've always have said that, and I stand by that till this day. That's why a lot of the time when I feel like I'm encountering a negative person or it's a negative kind of like situation, I choose not to respond. Unless I feel as though I have to say something in the moment. Otherwise, I'm not saying anything at all. And it's like it bothers people that I sit back and stay quiet and don't say anything. It's like they want me to say something so bad, and then the minute I don't, that bothers them. It's like they're itching for me to say something. I don't have to say anything if I don't want to. People have to understand and realize that people have their own minds. People can think for themselves. If somebody felt the need to say something, they would say it. Otherwise, if they don't, then they won't say anything at all. And if you don't have nothing to say, that's fine. You don't have to say anything if you don't want to. And sometimes you just don't feel like going through the tassel with people of going back and forth or trying to prove a point to them just for them to still think what they want to think and do what they want to do. So it's like, what's the point? Why am I even going to waste my time and my energy on a person that I don't have to give the time or day to? So I pretty much react to negativity in the best way that I feel as though work for me, which is ignoring it. And there's been so many times where people have said so many negative things to me, but I've made the decision to not let it get under my skin and to just allow people to just think what they want to think. Because people form their own opinions about whatever, and I'm not about to waste my time going back and forth with anybody about how they think or how they feel about me. If you don't like me, you don't like me. Whatever. That doesn't hurt my feelings. that doesn't make me feel any kind of way, you know, I could care less, you know. So a lot of the time you just have to say to yourself, you know, it is what it is. Why even waste your time caring? Why even waste your time trying to even like give a reaction or anything? Like, sometimes you just have to learn to just let certain things go, let certain people go, and just worry about yourself, you know. There's always going to be negative people out here in the world, and we can't do much about it because that's the world we live in. There's people like that around all the time, but you just can't let it get to you. You can't allow it to get you out of character. You can't allow it to make you act out, because that's the kind of stuff that these individuals be looking for. They be looking for you to have these kind of reactions. That's why they do what they do. And I refuse to do any of that because I just don't have the energy and I don't have the time. Like, there's better things to be focused on. There's better things to be putting my time towards, rather than a negative person that have nothing else better to do with their time but spread bad energy around for whatever reason. And a lot of the time it be things that they're going through in their own life, and they want to take it out on everybody else instead of them just finding a person that they can talk to and open up to about whatever is bothering them. They'll rather just take it out on innocent people, or people that want to actually be happy in life and just live a good life. It's like anything positive that they see in a person or see about a person, it bothers them, because they're not like that. They're negative, so they want everybody else to be.